Hello my dear students, this is Abhishek Mishra, Faculty of Social Studies at Mount Litra Z School, Jhansi. So in this video I am going to teach you class 11th Political Science chapter number 1, that is Constitution Why and How. In my last video I had told you much about the Constituent Assembly. So here in this video we are going to discuss the composition of the Constituent Assembly. Now look, as a consequence of the partition under the plan of 3 June 1947, those members who were elected from territories which fell under Pakistan ceased to be members of the Constituent Assembly. Means the part of India that was further given to Pakistan and the members, those who were elected from those territories, which now will come under the territories of Pakistan. So they were seized from the Constituent Assembly, and thus the members in the assembly were reduced to 299, out of which 284 were actually present on 26th of November 1949. This date is very much crucial, 26th November 1949, because on this day the members, 299 members of the Constituent Assembly completed the Constitution. Though it was not implemented that day, but the completion of the Constitution was done on 26th of November 1949, and out of these 299 members, 284 members signed the Constitution on this day, and it was finally passed. The Constitution was thus framed against the backdrop of the horrendous violence that the partition unleashed on the subcontinent. See, the Constitution was made under the unfavorable circumstances in our country. It was a very horrendous time for the political leaders or for the members of the Constituent Assembly who were making Constitution that time, because that time India was facing a riot between India and Pakistan. There was bloody partition that time, so it was very unfavorable for the members to make Constitution. But it is a tribute to the fortitude of the framers that they were not only able to draft a constitution under immense pressure, but also learned the right lessons from the unimaginable violence that accompanied partition. See, the constitution was made by the members after the experience that they took from the violence and from the nationalist movement that they did against the Britishers. So they learnt lessons and implemented their learning in their constitution. The constitution was committed to a new conception of citizenship, which would not only where minorities would not be secure only, but religious identity would have no bearing on citizenship rights. Initially in India there was untouchability, there was casteism, there was communalism, but here the constitution was made in such a way that each and every minority would be given equal rights. Constitution is not going to favor majority at all, though India would be a country who would be ruled by the majority, but it is somehow going to respect and protect the rights of minorities and their interests as well. Now, but this account of the composition of the Constituent Assembly that drafted the Constitution touches upon only the surface of how our Constitution was made. Although the members of the assembly were not elected by universal suffrage, voting was not done, as we know, there was a serious attempt to make the assembly a representative body. Members of all religions were given representation under the scheme described above. In addition, the assembly had 26 members from what were then known as the scheduled classes. Means the members were elected from different background. They represented their caste, they represented their regions. Among the 299 members, all were elected from different territories, from different caste, in which 26 members were from the scheduled classes. So they were in the Constituent Assembly to promote their interest and to make written some things for their welfare. In terms of political parties, the Congress dominated the assembly as it was having 82% seats in the assembly after the partition. Means Congress was the most dominated party at that time because they gave much of their members in Constituent Assembly. But here you cannot call Congress as a single party because Congress also had some diverse member in its party, and it represent all shades of opinion within it. Now moving further, सो हेयर द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ डेलिब्रेशन. डेलिब्रेशन को हिंदी में कहते हैं विवेचना करना. मतलब वॉट एवर इट इज टेकन, first it was discussed, first it was consulted among the members, and later on it was passed. So the authority of the Constituent Assembly does not come only from the fact that it was broadly, though not perfectly, representative. It comes from the procedures it adopted to frame the constitution and the values its member brought to their deliberations. While in any assembly that claims to be representative, it is desirable that diverse sections of society participate. It is equally important that they participate not only as representatives of their own identity or community. Each member deliberated upon the constitution with the interest of the whole nation in mind. Means though the members of the Constituent Assembly were elected from different backgrounds, from different castes and from different regions, so though they are going to promote their interest, but somehow they had to adopt such things which are going to do the welfare of whole nation. Means their development goals should match the nation development goals. Now there were often disagreements amongst the members, but few of these disagreements could be traced to members protecting their own interest. Some leaders were there who were promoting their own interest only, so there were some disagreements also. There were legitimate differences of principle, and the differences were many, like should India adopt a centralized or decentralized system of government. I had told you what is called a centralized system, where only a single government work for the whole country, while decentralization we had already studied in class 10th, when the power is taken from central or state government and given to local government. So these were some principles that were discussed again and again, and there were some confusions among them. Now what should be the relations between the center and the state? Means should India be a federal country, or a state government should be subordinate, or central government should be more powerful or less powerful? So there were some confusions also. What should be the powers of the judiciary? As you can say, in India nowadays judiciary is single and integrated, but that time it was very difficult to discuss and to bring the amendments, implementation. Should the constitution protect property rights? Almost every issue that lies at the foundation of a modern state was discussed with great sophistication. Only one provision of the constitution was passed without virtually any debate: the introduction of universal suffrage, meaning that all citizens reaching a certain age would be entitled to be voters irrespective of religion, caste, education, gender or income. So that was the principle. Without discussion it was implemented in our constitution, because India is going to be a democratic country, and it is the soul of a democratic country that you cannot deprive anyone giving his vote or to be elected in any of the election. So without discussion it was implemented. So while the members felt no need at all to discuss the issue of who should have the right to vote, every other matter was seriously discussed and debated. Nothing can be a better testament of the democratic commitment of this assembly. The constitution drew its authority from the fact that members of the Constituent Assembly engaged in what one might call public reason. Means whatever there should be in the constitution, it should be for the welfare of the public. Constitution should not look like in such a way that it is going to favor only a particular section of the society or country. The members of the assembly placed a great emphasis on discussion and reasoned argument. They did not simply advance their own interests, but gave principled reason to other members for their positions. All were allowed to speak. All were allowed to secure their rights and to speak something beneficial for the nation. The very act of giving reasons to others makes you move away from simply a narrow consideration of your own interest, because you have to give reasons to others to make them go along with your viewpoint. Now, I think it's enough for today. Baki one topic is left in this chapter, so that I will cover in my next video on Tuesday. And by this we will complete this chapter. So till then, thank you.